All right, so good evening to you all, and welcome to another wonderful session in our data analytics with Excel. This is a very important course that will help you to build a great foundation for your data analytics career. Most of us are going to be needing Excel. We are going to be using Excel. As a matter of fact, your knowledge in Excel will determine a whole lot for you in your career. And those who do not have Excel skills will have to pay for certain opportunities that they may lose. And so it is very important to have these skills, and having this can determine whether you make it into your dream role or your next job or not. It is very important to have these skills, and as a data professional, you need this particular skill desperately. Today, we want to continue from where we left off, and we are going to add up to what we covered. And then little by little, we will move forward into advanced topics in Microsoft Excel. This particular class is going to be practical, and so I will advise you to have your computers ready, your Excel opened, and follow along with the class. If we're able to complete the slides for tonight, we will take on a practice exercise and work on a simple worksheet and share amongst ourselves. All right, so this session, lesson 3, is going to be about basic data formatting and calculations in Excel. We are learning Excel from the very basics, and if you are new to Excel, following this and practicing will help you understand what you need to know in Excel. We will be using formulas and functions for simple analysis. And so after we cover basic concepts in Excel, we will begin working with formulas and functions. I'd like to encourage you that your Excel career success begins with this class. Take it seriously. Make sure you understand what is being taught, because this is an Excel you need. Any skill in Excel that you require, you are going to acquire in these classes. Make sure you are punctual, make sure you are following, ask questions, and make sure you understand everything. The assignments and practice exercises that are given, make sure you work on them and make sure you acquire the skills. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to edit and delete data correctly in Excel. You will be able to adjust column width and row height. These are very basic things to do in Excel. But after this class, you should be able to do that. Apply borders to structure data sets, and then format numbers, currency, and dates. And then we are going to make use of autofill. Autofill. If you can hear me, please put autofill in the chat. If I'm audible, you can hear me loud and clear. Let me see autofill in the chat. Last time I played a video and you heard someone saying autofill. All right. After this slide, I may play that video again and we will hear autofill. You'll be able to perform basic calculations using formulas. So we are going to have an introduction into formulas and then apply the basics of Excel functions. All right, so let me switch to my video and play this video. After that, we will continue with the lesson. So let me just share my screen and we will watch this video again.
I just saw Wilson. You're showing her the projections for the new vacation packages this morning.
I am?
You're joking, right? You're such a kidder. Tell me you did it. Come on, don't do this to me. It's just one little spreadsheet. God, this could make or break the deal. Her exact words were 9 a.m. or never.
Hey, calm down. Just give me a minute.
Well, I haven't heard anything about cooking. What about that?
Yeah, 25th.
So,
25th.
when are we going to sort that out? Yeah,
What is this?
it's Microsoft Excel. Now hold still, I'm about to perform a miracle.
You're crazy. There's no time.
Now Wilson just wants this year, right? First we'll put in the names of the tours. Tennis, golf, safari. Total.
Right.
Q1, Q2 ought to do it. She wants to see a 10% growth.
Yeah.
I'll work up the first 2 quarters.
I got it. I got it. We could tell her that you got mugged on Friday night. Nah, she'd want a police report.
Click on the auto sum?
Hey, you only have 2 quarters here. Aren't you going to finish it?
No, but Microsoft Excel is. Watch this. It's called autofill. It's going to finish the table for me. I just drag this little cross as far as I want the data extended. Check it out. Excel picks up on trends, totals, quarters, dates, and does the projections for me.
My spreadsheet doesn't do that.
Very cool. Autofill. Oh, my career is over. Gone. Look, you're not going to make it.
Not unless I make room for this title.
What? Start all over?
Don't panic. I'm just going to drag the table over here and make room for it.
Hey, did you just drag that?
My spreadsheet doesn't do that.
Okay, watch this. Add that title. A little bigger. Centered.
Nah, it still doesn't look right. Give it up, man. Look, let's just say your PC got run over by a bus and you're lucky to be alive.
Whoa, I better format those numbers. Click on the table, click the right mouse button, get the shortcut menu for numbers. We want currency formats. This one looks good.
My spreadsheet doesn't do that.
Okay, I admit it. That was pretty neat, but you'll never finish it. This isn't good enough to present. You can't show her this.
Oh, ye of little faith.
I really think she'd buy the bus store.
With a click on the auto format, our superhero shops through several professionally designed formats and applies one.
That one.
With a click of his mighty mouse.
I can't believe it. You did it. We did it. It looks great. This is a miracle.
This is Microsoft Excel. I took a minute to work up those figures you wanted.
My spreadsheet doesn't do that. What was that?
Okay. All right, so let's continue with Excel, talking about the basics of Excel. We are going to cover very important aspects of the basics of Excel again. And let's do a quick recap of what we studied before. So we saw what a workbook is. A workbook is the Excel file itself. It is called a book or workbook. We talked about worksheets, which is a single page in an Excel workbook. And then we talked about the active cell. The active cell is a currently selected cell where data can be entered. So the selected cell is referred to as the active cell in Excel. And then we talked about cell names and cell addresses. And so every cell has a name, and it is also referred to as the address, because in the name box, you can use it to locate that particular cell. We looked at the name box, and the name box shows the address of the active cell. It can also be used to quickly move to another cell or identify selected ranges. We talked about cell ranges and selecting cells. You can highlight over cells to select them. We also discussed the formula bar, which allows you to view the content of the active cell and any formula written in that cell. With the formula bar, you can enter data directly. You can edit formulas in the formula bar. You can also view calculations. And then we discuss some of the popular types of data in Excel. In your Excel cells, you can input numbers, you can input text, and you can input dates. And all of these can be formatted in their own ways. And we want to continue with editing and deleting data. This is very, very simple. But if you are a beginner, an absolute beginner, you need to understand how this is done. So let me share my screen and then we will get to that. All right. All right, so let me go to sheet 2. Last time we used this worksheet and we'll talk about simple data editing in Excel. Simple data editing. If you have data in your Excel, in any cell, how you need to edit it. So let's input some data here. We can go ahead and say this is right here. Let's say this is products, and this is price, and this is quantity, and then this is total. So let's input some product here. We can say this is let's say smartphone. Let's say this is laptop. Let's say this is a radio. And then we have price here. We have, let's say 320. This is 450. And this is 130. All right. Quantity, let's have 2, 3, 4. And then we can have the total as well. We can have the total as well. All right. Now, in Microsoft Excel, you can edit data in your cells. For example, this 320, to edit it, you can simply write over it or overwrite your text on it and it will edit, because this is not a calculation. It's not a formula. It's a raw number. You can simply edit it. You can also double click on it and then you see the cursor blinking and you can edit what you want to edit. When it comes to formulas, for example, let me create a simple formula here, like total equals to the price times the quantity. Over here, you've seen that I have a formula here. When I hit enter, I'm going to see 700 over here. This 700 is an output. And if I want to edit this, I would have to double click in the same cell and I can edit the formula. I can edit the formula if I want to do that. So let me change this to D5. And once I do that, it will respond to it. All right. You can also click on the cell and go to the formula bar and do your editing within the formula bar. So this is important because sometimes you will have to edit. Now I'm going to do something here that I'm not supposed to do, and later I'll tell you why. I'm going to press equal to this times that, enter. another one, this times that. Now, this particular calculation I've done, I have performed the calculation 3 times. Now, performing the calculation 3 times is not difficult. But what if I had to perform the calculation 3,000 times? Would I calculate them one by one? The answer is no. And so very soon we are going to be introduced to the feature called autofill. Autofill is an AI within Excel that automatically detects patterns within your data entry and make projections and predictions for you. For example, let me go to sheet 3. And on sheet 3, I can simply input 1 here and then 2 on the next cell. After inputting 1 and 2, Excel can look at these two and assume that I'm trying to input 3 in the next cell. And so there's a button here, this dot here. Once I drag this dot here, it will create the 3 for me. This is what is called autofill. If I drag it again, it's going to create 4 for me because it has followed the pattern to know that this is what I am probably trying to do. It may not be correct every time because that may not be what I want to do. And so using autofill, if you don't need it or when you use it and you get wrong results, you have to correct it manually. All right. For example, when I put 2 here, just 2, and I apply autofill, I get 2 again. I apply autofill again, I get 2. I apply autofill again, I get 2. Why am I getting 2 again? I'm getting 2 multiple times because it is not detecting any pattern. It is seeing a single number, and so it assumes I want to duplicate it. But if I type, let's say 2, and the next one 3, and I highlight both cells and I use autofill, this time it will learn the pattern. Let me just go to 4 and drag from 4. You saw how it behaved. All right. So if you want to teach it, so you have to train it. It's like an AI. I can highlight all of these 3, and then I can apply it, and it will follow it. If my pattern says 2, 4, I highlight these 2 and I apply autofill. What do you think I'm going to get next? Please put it in the chat for me. What am I going to get next? All right, so someone says I'm going to get 6. Let's try it and see. And I got 6 and I got 8 because autofill follows the pattern and makes predictions. What if I type January? Okay, let's use autofill. And I get February, I get March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. All right, so this is just pattern recognition. Pattern recognition. Now, if let's say in January, we have a calculation here. Let's just assume there's a calculation. And you are going to see that I'm always using the equal to sign to begin every calculation. In January, we are going to multiply this cell by this particular cell. And we are going to hit enter. Now we got 4 because 2 times 2 is 4. Now, when we apply autofill now, we are going to get 12. Why are we getting 12? Why are we getting 12? Who can tell me why we are getting 12? Why are we getting 12? Let me see it in the charts. Why do you think we are getting 12 for February? Why are we getting 12? Is it correct? Is it wrong? All right, so we are getting 12 because 3 times 4 for February is 12. Again, this is pattern recognition. If you click on this 12 and you look in the formula bar, or if you double click on this, you are going to see that just as January performed its calculation on this line, on the January line, if you tell autofill to move to February, it will assume that you want to perform your calculation on the February line. So you get this. What will I get when I drag autofill again? What will I get when I drag autofill again? Let me see in the chat. Again, these are Excel basics, just for those who are very new to Excel, so that you get to understand these simple things. Very soon, we are going to deal with advanced features in Excel. All right, so someone says we are going to get 24. Let's drag autofill and see 24. All right. And then the last one, we are going to get 40. And I hope it makes sense to you. All right. So the slide that we are looking at, let me share it again. The slide we are currently looking at is talking about editing and deleting data. And it says that to edit data, you can double click the cell or edit it in the formula bar. So this is what we just did. Now to delete data, you also need to select the cell and press delete. Select the cell, press delete in Excel. Now, most people don't know how to delete in Excel. Let's see if it's simple or difficult. Okay, let's start from here. So the excess we have here. So let's click on May, select the cell, press delete on your keyboard, and it worked. So this is how to delete. Now, let's highlight June, July, August, and press delete. It worked. All right. Sometimes in previous versions of Excel, highlighting multiple cells like this and pressing delete may not work, but now it is working. Now, one of the ways to delete or clear multiple cells is by highlighting them and going to the editing group here and selecting this. If you can see my screen, tell me what you see here. What is this written? I mean, what is here? All right. So Eliezer says clear all. Now, clear all, if you check the tooltip here, it clears everything from the selected cells. All content, formatting, and comment are cleared from the active cell or selected cells. So this is one effective way to clear all. So most of the time you have a lot of things to clear. In the very latest version of Excel, you can see that deleting your delete key is working. But in other versions of Excel, the delete key is not going to work. And so on the Home tab in the editing group, you can come here and use clear all. You can also clear formats from it. Let's go to some of the cells we applied formatting to. Let's try clear format. And you saw that the formatting is gone. Wow. So I had formatting here, but I want to reverse to raw. I can clear formats and it's gone. So you can do this right here. Okay. So this is how to delete. You can highlight, press delete, or use the clear all tool. All right, let's move on to the next slide. All right, so let's continue. And we want to talk about adjusting columns, column width, and row height in Excel. So sometimes data may not fit properly. Sometimes data may not fit properly. And we can increase the column width and the row height. These are all part of the basics of Excel. And these are things you need to know, especially if you are an absolute beginner in Excel. All right, so you can also increase the row height, and this improves data readability and the presentation. All right, so let me switch and let's look at this. All right. Let me open to a new sheet and let's see how this can behave. All right. So when I started before, I entered something like products. And after products, I entered price. I entered quantity, QTY. And then I entered total, something like this. Now, one of the temptations that people have in Excel is that they like to jump rows and move to next row, thinking of readability. But in Excel, we don't do that much because the row heights can be adjusted. So we're talking about adjusting the row height. Alignment can be done. So most of the time, there is no need jumping to a third row thinking you want to leave a space. All right, so this is Excel. Or instead of starting from A1, you will be thinking that it is too close to the wall. So you want to start from B1, B1 or B2 to leave some space over here. All of that are not necessary at all. So most of the time, you just begin with A1. What if after entering this, you wish you had something there? You can right click and you can insert. So let's call this sales records for March 2026. All right, so you can see that I've been able to insert a whole title. All right, now watch this. When it comes to the product, watch this. So we have smartphones, we have laptops, we have, let's say, we have radio or any other product. Okay. Now, to make this very clear, let me delete this and we'll bring it back later. That also tells you can insert rows, you can delete rows. Now, when you are inputting data in Excel, just for the beginners, you need to understand that, for example, this smartphones has crossed into the column B because it appears too long or longer than the column width. And so what you see a lot of beginners do is to leave column B alone and come to column C to input the next item. So let's say they are making a list. After entering this, because this has crossed to this cell, they jump this and they come here. But in Excel, we don't do that. It is not necessary. The reason is that the column weight can be adjusted. The column weight can be adjusted anyhow you want it. And so if something crosses into another column, there is no need to jump a column. Very important. Apart from that, if you are supposed to fill the next column, you should not think about the first one. Just go ahead and enter what you need to enter in the next column or the next cell. Now, once you do that, you will see that because there is data in this cell has been truncated. But if there's no data, then this cell will reveal the entire data within it and it will cross over. Now, let me back up to undo to where we had the title. All right. Now, this particular title, you can see clearly that it begins from A1 and ends in C1. But the question is, where is the data actually located? Which cell contains the data? Who can answer this? Where is the data actually located? Is it in C or B or somewhere else? All right, so Marasi and Geraldine are both saying the data is actually in A1. So if I go to C, I don't see anything in my formula bar. If I try to apply some formatting, it doesn't respond. There's nothing I do here that responds. It's not working. It's not working. Whatever you are seeing is just applying something to C. So it's not affecting the data. If I come to B, I see nothing here. And if I come to A, then I can see the data. So the data is actually in A1. So why is it crossing over B and crossing over C and can cross to D and more? It is because the data or the width of the data is more than the column width. And so the column width can be adjusted if you need to do that. However, in this particular case, I'm dealing with a title, so there is no need adjusting the column just for the A column to have the title, because the title will look better if it crosses over. So what am I supposed to do? So I'm going to chip in something here. Anytime you are dealing with titles or you want to combine multiple cells, you can highlight to where you want to combine to. For example, if you are making use of, let's say, 4 or 5 columns, my headings here end here at D. And so I can highlight from A to D and tell Excel that since this is a title or a heading, I want to apply this feature to it. Now, this feature, who can tell me the name in the chat? What feature have I pointed my mouse at? This feature. All right. So this feature here is called merge and center. Now, merge and center is very powerful. The moment you apply it, this is what is going to happen. Now, let's click inside D. We can see the data. Let's click inside C. We can see the same data. Let's click inside B. We can see it. And when we click inside A1, we can still see it. Now, in this case, what happened? In this case, we have merged cells. We've taken cell A, B, C, D, and we have said all of you should become one. And after that, center the data. And so we call this merge and center. It's a very cool feature. And so most of the time we apply it on headings and titles. And because of that, if you apply any formatting, you can see that it responds really well. It responds really well. All right, let's get back to what we are talking about. Right now, we are learning about adjusting column weights. So the column you see here as A or B or C or D comes with default column weight. And this column weight can be adjusted to help properly organize the data you are formatting within your worksheet. And so it is very unprofessional to see my smartphone cross into column B. So what I would do is to come to the middle here and adjust the column weight so that the data here will fit in its own column. If I put price here and I input something like 35500, if this is the amount, and I use this comma here, we'll talk about it later. And because of this comma, if my column weight is shorter, you can see that the data will struggle to be visible. And most of the time, you are going to see these hash, 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 hash. These hash, 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 they happen usually when you are dealing with numbers and the column weight is not sufficient for the numbers to be revealed. So this is not an error. If you want to see what an error is, try performing a calculation with text and a number and say this is equal to this times that. This does not make mathematical sense. And so this one is an error. This is an error, but this right here is not an error. Now, what is the solution to this when you see it? Because you are going to see it all the time. Who can tell me the solution to this when we see it? What is the solution in Excel? All right. So I can see someone typing the column weight. So the column weight is the issue. Now, to solve this, there are multiple ways. For example, you saw me dragging to expand the column weight of column A. You can expand, you can reduce by coming into the middle. And one thing about Excel is that Excel has multiple pointers. Multiple pointers. Let's see how many we can count. Let's count the pointers we see in Excel. Now, look at the pointer we are looking at. This is 1. Look at the shape. This is 1. This pointer right here is a big white cross. Big white cross. I hope you've seen that. Now, let's put our mouse here. Has the pointer changed? Has it changed? Yes, it has changed. So this is another one. And each one has a meaning. Look at how this one looks like. Let me show you another one. Watch this. Has it changed again? It has changed again. This too has a meaning. This one allows you to move a cell. So you can actually drag a cell somewhere. Let's put something in. And let's locate that particular pointer. This is it. You can see that I can drag a cell when I see that pointer. So every pointer has a meaning. This big white cross is the pointer for selecting the active cell. If you see the big white cross, we use it to select the active cell. If you see this big down arrow, it is used to select columns. And if you see what I showed you, it is used to move cells. So every pointer has a meaning. Let me show you another pointer. Let me show you another pointer. When you look at the active cell and you look at the bottom right, do you see a dot over there? Do you see a dot over there? At the bottom right of the active cell, do you see a dot? Good. Now, when I put my mouse pointer on the dot, specifically on the dot, the pointer has changed again. This time, it is a black cross, a black cross. This black cross is the AI or the autofill cross or pointer, autofill pointer. This is what gives you autofill. So if you want to use autofill, unless you wait for the black cross, you don't have to wait for it. You just have to look for it. If you have it, it will respond to you. You can go down, you can go up, you can go right, you can go left. It is very, very intelligent. It is a black cross. Then we have another one. When you put it in between two columns, has it changed again? Has the pointer changed again? It has changed again. And so each pointer has a meaning and each pointer has a function. This time, where it is in between two columns directly, that is used to expand the column weight or to reduce the column weight. And so you can expand your column weights in between the columns, or another way to do it is to highlight the column, highlight the column, highlight the column. Then on the Home tab, under the Cells group, you will see Formats. And I'm going to put my mouse on something. What do you see my mouse on? My mouse is on something. What do you see? Just put it in the charts. Okay, so it is called column weight. Now, when you click on column weight, you are going to see the value that determines the weight your column has. and I'm seeing 11.73. I can change it to, let's say, change it to 15.73. And when I click OK, you can see that the column weight has been adjusted. Let's go back to Format, Column Weight again, and reduce it to 7. Click OK, and you can see that the column weight has been adjusted. You can right-click on the column, and you can see it right here again, column weight. And you can see your 7 is still there because it remembers that the column weight is 7. So intelligently, you can adjust it to a number. Sometimes you may want all your columns to have a specific number. So because this is 12, you can come to column C and also make it 12. Even though you don't have something in it, you may want it to be exactly as another column. So the column weights have values, and the values can be inputted. Apart from that, you can use a default column weight, and the default column weight is 8.09. The default column weight. Let's check the column weight of this. It is 8.09. Let's check the column weight of this one. 8.09. All right. Apart from knowing the column weight or being able to adjust it, there is something called auto fit column weight. Please put that in the chat for me. Auto fit column weight. Auto fit column weight. Please put that in the chat for me. All right. Now, this auto fit column weight is not a noun. It is a verb. It's not just a name. It is a command or an action. And so once you select it, it is going to automatically adjust the column weight for you. So let's distort the column weight of column A. Right click on it or just select it, come to Format and use Auto Fit Column Weight. Once you click on Auto Fit Column Weight, you will see that it will automatically fit the column weight. Now, anytime you use Auto Fit Column Weight, it is going to make sure that your data does not cross into the next column. So it will adjust it right after the longest text or the longest input, data input. And so if I have this kind of problems, I can use auto fit column weight to solve it. Now there is a shortcut to using auto fit column weight. When you come in between two columns, instead of dragging right or left, you can double click. When you double click, you have activated auto fit column weight. Now, auto fit column weight will automatically fit the column weight based on the weight of the longest text or data. So when I double click this, I will be able to auto fit this. And this, where I have the problem, when I double click here, it will also auto fit for me. So auto fit works when you double click in between the two columns. All right. Apart from adjusting column weight, you can also adjust row height. Sometimes I like to adjust my row height, and then I like to use my middle. I like middle a lot. Instead of my text or my title being at the bottom, I like it middle, and sometimes I like to shade the background with something nice. And I can give it a nice color. All right. So you can see how beautiful this looks. It is because I was able to adjust the row height. To adjust the row height, you can also select the row. The same way we select columns like this on the letters, we can also select rows on the numbers. We can select rows on the numbers. When you select a row, there are multiple things you can do. You can go to formats, and you can also adjust the row height from here. Instead of 15, you can make it 21, and the row height will be adjusted for you. You can also use auto fit row height. So we don't only have auto fit column width, we also have auto fit row height. When I click on it, it will auto fit the row height for me. I think this is really interesting. So the row height, you can input the number or auto fit, or use your mouse to adjust it manually. These are all important features with columns and row adjustments. All right, let's quickly move on to the next slide and see what we have to learn. Okay, so the next slide talks about alignment, and I'm sure we've covered everything about alignment: left, right, center, middle, all of that. We've covered them, and it's really interesting. I like the middle, and middle is in between top and bottom. And at the same time, you have left, center, right. So there are 6 alignments to use in Excel: left, center, right, top, middle, bottom. All right, proper alignment makes data sets look professional and organized. You saw how I aligned the heading, the title, and it really looked good. If I take time to align everything, my worksheet will look very professional. All right, now let's quickly talk about borders. Borders. Please type borders in the chat. And borders here, we are not referring to national borders. We are not referring to the borders in Africa or the borders in the United States. We are talking about cell borders, and borders help define data structure, types, separates records clearly, improves table readability. And so sometimes tables need borders, or you can apply borders on tables and also make reports look professional. All right, let's get back to Excel and let's see what this is about. All right, so let me come here. Before I do that, let me clear everything here. So now you know how to delete. Let me input something here, 12, 99, 0. Okay. And let me input this like 10, 7, 0, 0. Let me give this quantity 2, 3, 4, and perform a calculation here with equal to this times that. Enter. Let me double click here to adjust column weight. Sometimes you will use adjust column weight, auto fit column weight, and you may not like it because this doesn't look professional. It's still too, the weight is very less. So I'm going to expand it myself. And I actually want to highlight the whole column and center it like this, just for this particular task. It's not every column that I'll do that to, but for this particular one, I just want to do that to increase the clarity and readability. All right, now I'm going to use autofill to perform these calculations. So you can see how autofill has been able to study the patterns and the formulas that were used, and it's been able to create formulas for the other products as well. All right, so now this is starting to look good. However, let's see something. Let's assume we are ready to print this document. Let's assume we are ready to print. Now, when it's time to print this on paper, you are going to get a little confused because in Excel, you actually see lines. Do you see the lines here? Do you see the lines? Let me know. Do you see the lines in Excel? All right. So these lines are referred to as grid lines. Please put that in the chat for me. Grid lines. We have guidelines, we have grid lines. Please put that in the chat for me. Now, these grid lines are just there to help guide your data entry. If you have never printed from Excel before, you are going to be surprised the first time you print that these lines will not appear on your paper. On your paper is going to be blank. So whatever you've done here is going to be blank. So when you try to print and you go to print, this is your print preview. And my print preview looks very blank. All right. It looks very blank. All right. I've not cleared my machine properly. I would have done the zoom in feature. But you saw clearly that it is very blank. It is blank. It is blank. You don't see the lines. All right. So let me try zooming in and let's see. So when you print this on paper, you are going to see that the lines will not appear. Now, these lines here are really interesting. These lines here are really interesting. The reason is that the lines were not designed to show on paper. They were just designed to help guide your data entry. Now, when you go to the View tab, you are going to see a lot of features on the View tab. One of the features you see is your ruler, which we'll talk about later. Next is your grid lines. These grid lines, if you uncheck them, you are going to have Excel with no lines. Do you see the lines removed? Do you see the lines removed now? All right. So when your grid lines are removed, first of all, Excel is going to feel a little bit strange. Do you see the grid lines removed? Let me know in the chat. All right. So when your grid lines are removed, Excel is going to look a little bit strange because there are no lines. Also, someone comes and said, my Excel has no lines. All right, these lines are just there to guide your data entry or input. They are not designed to show on your paper. So when you print, you are going to see your text on blank sheets like this. Or one day you open your Excel and there are no lines. It doesn't mean there's a problem with your Excel. You just have to go to View and check this box, and the lines are back. Next, your formula bar is here. If one day your formula bar disappears, it's not because there's a problem with your Excel. It's just because it has been disabled from here. So you can bring it back. All right. Now, sometimes when you print your data on paper, you do not want to see your data printed blank like this. It may not look professional to you. And so apart from the grid lines, we have what is called borders. You can highlight your entire data set and go to Home. And then you go to under the font group, you are going to see borders. You click on this arrow and you can use this option. Who can tell me what I've pointed my mouse on? What is my mouse pointed to? Okay, all borders. So once you do this, now your Excel has borders. This time, when you try to print, you are going to see the borders because you have manually applied borders. And you decided where the borders should appear based on what you highlight. When you go to File and you go to Print and you check your print preview, you are going to see that the borders are there. Now, these borders will appear in print because they were created intentionally. All right. Now, printing in Excel is something really interesting. We will get to it because there are some interesting settings you can do here, and you need to know how to do it. If you've never done these settings before, you will not know how to print on Excel. You will not know how to use Excel to print. So these settings, we will deal with them when we get here. All right, let's move on. So my next slide here, says that you can use all borders to apply borders. And proper alignment makes data sets look professional and organized. The borders separate records clearly, improve table readability, and makes report look professional. Apart from all borders, we have no border to remove your borders. We have border top, left, right, bottom. If you want to apply the borders only to the top, left, right, or bottom only. But when you say all borders, it means apply the borders around the entire cell. If you select a cell and you say border right, you are going to get only a line at the right side of the cell, which may not be what you want. All right. This next aspect is really interesting, and it talks about formatting numbers, currencies, and dates. This is really interesting. So let's see how numbers can be formatted quickly. Last time, I formatted some dates by showing you long dates and short dates and all of that. Let's come here, right-click, and insert a column. After inserting the column, I'm going to title this date. And I'm noticing that my merging did not apply to my new column. Let me insert a new column in the middle of these ones. You can see that the merging applied to the one in the middle. Let me undo, insert a column here. Why would I insert a column? There's already a column here. All right, so let me say, okay, so my merging did not affect the right and the left, but it affected the middle. If I insert a column in between the table, it will be affected. So what do I do to expand my title across my new table adjustment? One of the things you can do is to destroy the merging and centering. So you can unmerge cells. Let's click on this again. So by clicking and unclicking, you are creating and destroying or breaking. So when you do this, the merging is broken. So you can see that when I click on this, I don't see anything here. I don't see anything. I don't see anything until I click here. Then You can highlight everything again and then merge again. Now you can see how beautiful and how clear it has merged. Then I can highlight all of these. And if I want the borders, please, you are not going to be needing borders all the time. You are not going to be needing borders. When we advance, we are going to be using table formatting. You can see format as table. These table formatting are interesting designs, and some of them come with borders, some do not come with borders, and most of the time we are going to apply these already designed table formatting. But as a data analyst, you need to understand that you can create borders manually. It does not mean every time you use Excel, create borders. You do not need them. You only need them when you need them. All right, so let's input some dates here, like 2, 2, 26, or let's just say 2, 3, 26, and make this 3, 3, 26, and 4, 3, 26. All right, so Excel, let me do auto fit column weights or expand this a little bit. Excel is detecting that these are dates. And so when I entered 2, 3, 26, it was able to recognize it as a date. When you click on date, you can see here that it has formatted it into a date. We have multiple date formats. We have dates, which we just saw. We have short dates, long dates. So this is actually short date. Now, these numbers you see here, why is it that this didn't have any formatting applied to it? For this one, I use this comma here. This comma is a comma style formatting, number formatting. Whenever you use this comma, you are applying a formatting called number formats. Number formats will always break 3 digits with a comma and will end the numbering with 2 decimal places, a decimal and 2 decimal places. This is the normal comma style number formatting. So it's called a number format. Once you apply it, it's going to break every 3 digits with a comma. It does not mean the data itself has been affected. If you check the formula bar, your 35500 still exists. But when you click on the comma, it applies it for you. Sometimes you will need it. Now, this does not necessarily mean that it is money or it is currency or it is a financial figure. It does not necessarily mean that. However, the dots with 2 decimal places are usually used for financial formatting. And so if you want a proper financial formatting, you need to come and use a currency format or the accounting format. There are 2 different formatting. Or if you don't like any of these formatting, you can just click number. When you click number, you restrict it to a number, a non-financial number. Let's try currency. And currency will detect your country symbol if you are using the latest version of Excel. If you are using a very old Excel, then you are always going to get US dollar. And now you can get your country's currency. And if you don't like it, you can change to any other currency. But we have currency format, we have accounting formats. Let me expand the column weight a little bit more. Let's select this cell again, change to currency format. This is how currency format looks like. Then this is how accounting format looks like. What differences do you see between currency format and accounting format? Who can tell me a difference you see between currency format and accounting format? What do you see? All right. Okay. So you can see that with the accounting format, the currency symbol is placed on the far left and the numbers or the digits are placed on the far right. With currency format, you are going to get the currency symbol attached to the value. So which one should we use? We use currency format or accounting format? Tell me what you think. Let me know in the chat, because sometimes you may have to use one specific one, but right now, which one looks better to you? Tell me, do you like currency format or accounting format? Okay, someone says currency format. Let me see someone else. Okay, so we have currency format, and we also have the next person says they like, and it actually depends on the column weight. Now, sometimes your column weight is not that wide, and you want to make sure that your symbols are always on the left. You can see how neat this looks. So this is accounting format. So someone says they want accounting, someone says they like currency. Now let's change the symbol from Ghana cedi to a different currency. Let's try and see if we can find Kenya shillings. Now to change the currency, you still have to come here, click on this arrow, click on more number formats, and click on your accounting or currency format, whichever one you selected. Here, you control your decimal places. So sometimes you'll be asked to remove decimal places or add 2 decimal places. Then this is where you control the symbols. So to control the symbol, let's see if we can get Kenya's symbol over here. So let's zoom in a little bit. And this is Ghana. And those of you who are in Azerbaijan, this is Azerbaijan symbol. All right, I don't think anyone here is in Azerbaijan. But if you want to see, let's say, Ghana cedis, and you don't see Ghana cedis in the list, maybe you don't see it, you can click here and press GH on your keyboard as fast as possible. When you type GH, it will move to GH for you, and you'll see it. Let me apply the same to see if I'll find Kenya shillings over here. So, okay, I type K something. All right. I'm not seeing, well, maybe. All right. So those of you in Kenya, please tell me if you can see your currency symbol here. It's definitely here. You see? Is that not it? Is that it? Please tell me. Is that your currency? Those of you in Kenya. Pashi, Ki, wait a minute. Kiwa, Hili. Is that it? All right. So let's look for Naira, Nigeria's Naira. It's going to be there, so you can find your currency, because if we have Ghana cedis, then we have Nigeria's naira. This KSH, I don't know if it is correct, because I know Kenya's to be shillings. Okay, so Nigeria, that's Nigeria. Okay. So let me try Nigeria. And I'm going to get NTN. This is so beautiful. All right. You can also switch it to US dollar if you want to use US dollar. All right. So this is where you can change your currency symbols in your Excel. And for US, look for United States. So that's it, English United States. So we have different currencies, but this is what you want. So let me reduce this a little bit. Let me use a format painter to pick this and apply it here. You can see that I can use a format painter here. Sorry, format painter, and apply it here. All right. So this is number formatting. Last time we talked about date formatting. You can change to long date if you want. You can use long date or short date. And this, I can click here and apply the same formatting to here. All right. So because of time, we will end our class here. I'm sure you've gained something little, and next time you will get more. So let's always come to class, let's participate, and let's learn something new. Very soon, we'll be getting into advanced topics in Excel. And so the foundational things, make sure you're understanding them, especially if you are new. I wanted us to have a practice exercise, but time will not permit us today. We will have it, God willing, in the next session. And once we get into advanced lessons, every simple thing we've been doing here, we are going to apply them. And you are going to use Excel until you are able to design dashboards with Excel. So thank you once again, and I'll see you next week. I wish you all the best. Good night. Bye-bye to you all.